Hey everyone, it is Odessa Sam here at Akwaba Academy, and today's video I'll be sharing with you 6 reading comprehension strategies. So if you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and also click that notification bell so you can get notified when I have new content here. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So happy to have you. All right, so let's get right into it. All right, so let's get into what is reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is the ability to understand written words. When we are reading for enjoyment. And if we cannot understand what we're reading, then there's a big disconnect in what we're reading. We're recognizing the words, but we're not understanding the words. And this is what we want to prevent with young children. We want to start them young, asking those reading comprehension questions to get that skill, to get it going. So as they're getting older into upper elementary where they're doing these tests and moving on into their life, we want children to ultimately grow up to adults who can read with comprehension. It's not just simply being able to recognize words. There are many different strategies that you can use to improve comprehension. It takes a lot of patience and guidance to get through it. It's not an overnight thing. So I don't want you to think that what I'm saying to you is a one and done and everything is going to be okay. This is something that you should be continuously doing, and over time you will, or you should start to see improvement. You are going to be there guiding the child along the way to help develop these reading comprehension skills. Over time, you should start to see that the child is making improvement and you start to pull back. It's sort of a scaffold. You are the scaffold and you're providing that support. And as you see that the child is starting to pick up and do certain things on their own, you want to start pulling back the scaffold, which would be you providing less support. And ultimately, the goal will be to have the child be able to put all of these strategies in place when it is appropriate without the support of an adult. So let's go ahead and get right into those 6 strategies that I wanted to share with you today. The first strategy is going to be prediction. So you may also hear it referred to as making inferences. So asking questions that will have the child make a prediction or guess about what they think will happen based on what they are seeing, hearing, or reading in the text. A great way to start reading prior to reading a book is asking those prediction or inferring questions based on the cover of the book. Read the title, ask, what do you think this book is going to be about based on the title of this book? Or let's look at the illustration. What do you think this book is going to be about based on this picture? And why do you think that? So always make sure you're following up with a why to get a better understanding of why the child is thinking what they're thinking. So that would be the first one, prediction. The next 3 strategies will fall under the umbrella of making connections to prior knowledge. So when we're reading to children, we do want them to make some kind of connection based on what information they already have. So one way they can make connections is doing a text to self connection, meaning they are using their prior knowledge, some experience that they have had in the past, to make a connection to the text that they are reading. So for example, let's say a character in a book, they went on a road trip. A child can use their prior knowledge, their experience of a time that they've gone on a road trip with their family. So now it's that text to self connection. I've gone on a road trip, and here it is that this character has gone on a road trip. So I can make that connection there. So they're using their prior knowledge of that. Another connection would be text to text connection. So they're using, again, their prior knowledge of another text that has something similar to the current text that they are reading. So we'll stay on the topic of a road trip. So let's say a child is reading a book about a family taking a road trip, and they've previously read another text about a family going on a road trip. Now they can have that text to text connection and also make comparisons about the two texts, how they're similar, how they're different. So you have so far text to self connection, text to text connection, and then we will have text to world connection. So that is pretty much making a connection between the book and events that are happening in the world. So if, let's say, a child is reading something about, maybe a book about voting, and they can make that connection with an actual event that's happening in the world. If it happens to be, like election time and people are going out, they're watching it on the news with their parents, they're seeing that people are going out to vote, they can make that text to world connection because it is something that's actually happening. So those three will fall under the connections to prior knowledge. And the next strategy is visualizing. So when you're asking children to read a text, you do want them to also create a picture of the words in their mind. Ask them to close their eyes and just think about, what would this look like? Let's see if you can create a story of these words in your mind. And sometimes that helps children to better understand a story. The mental images that children are creating in their mind about the story helps them to have a better understanding of what they've read. It helps them to recall greater details about the story, as well as drawing conclusions. So this is a strategy that I find that is not often used, but I do encourage you to use the strategy of visualizing a story. And the last strategy is to summarize. So after reading a story or any book, ask children to pretty much put it in their own words what they've actually read. And this will allow you to determine how much of the text that they've actually understood based on their version of what they've actually read. And there are different ways that you can do summarizing. You can wait until the very end and ask a child to summarize it by telling you, in your own words, tell me about what happened in the story. Or you can do it along the way. And I would recommend doing this along the way for beginners until you feel that they've really developed that particular skill. So after a few pages, you may want to drop a few questions in there like, okay, so far we've read a few pages, like, can you tell me in your own words what has happened so far? Or whatever other questions that you have. You can do this along the way. And then over time, as the child is older, you can then go now and leave it to the very end, asking them to summarize in their own words what actually happened. So we are at the end of my reading comprehension strategies. I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to drop down in the comment section and share your thoughts. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to also put that in the comment section. Again, if you are new here and you have not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you are notified when I have new videos here. If you are not following me on Instagram, go ahead and join the community there on Instagram, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching.